real life, when you get hit, you either take the beating or you fight back. When you get hit in anime, you pull a quick transformation that ascends you in the power hierarchy and then start punching back with arms wrapped in plot armor. With nearly 2 decades of anime material, I decided to select 10 of the most epic main character transformations in anime history. And by epic, I mean it either changes the course of the main character or story, either in a good way or a bad way. Before moving on, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content like this, because there's a lot more content coming your way. With that said, here comes the 10 most epic anime MC transformations of all time. Starting off our list, we have the transformation of Ken Kaneki in Tokyo Ghoul Route A. Tokyo Ghoul's second season was a rocky mess that loosely adapted the manga according to the producer's wishes, but at least they were smart enough to include the most integral scenes in all their glory. This transformation hits the TV screen when Kaneki is triggered by his sense of cannibalism, and of course the hidden presence of Rize inside his conscience. The sight of the corpses awakened Kaneki's Kakuja, and unlike his previous transformations, this wasn't a pretty sight. The depressed white-haired man character suddenly seemed to lose all sense of identity and morality as he transformed into a human-killing centipede. You thought the one-eyed owl was a great threat? Unleash this form of Kaneki to the battleground and see what a powerful ghoul's capable of. Armon's words resonated with him before he broke down crying, but the damage was done, and his actions were irredeemable. Next up, we have Shinji's transformation from a lonely introvert to an overpowered god in Neon Genesis Evangelion 2.0. This movie's title was You Can Not Advance, but ironically, the weakest character in the series transformed into a weapon of destruction during the movie's climax. What's the cause of this transformation? Love, of course. In the final part of the movie, things were desperate. And speaking in terms of Evangelion, you should know desperate means absolutely and utterly messed up in a way of no recovery. Asuka is dead, Nerve is on the brink of collapse, and Rei's almost gone. So it's time for Shinji to advance. His emotions for Rei triggers the power inside the Eva, and rising up once again, he breaks the barriers of the angel to save Rei, who's trapped inside. The sequence was tragically beautiful. The sad and depressing music in the background, the color schemes, and Anno's symbolism splattered everywhere. I'd like to say that this transformation was the best scene of the whole movie. Needless to say, Akira is one of the best action anime movies of all time. It was like the big budget Hollywood blockbuster for anime back in the day, and the movie's writing and direction obviously lay an impact on many modern anime. And one scene that inspired many is the transformation of Tetsuo. And you know what makes this transformation unique compared to many others on this list? This actually resulted in destroying the world rather than helping the main character take down the bad guys. To be honest, Tetsuo's powers seem more of a burden rather than an asset for him in battle. When he finds the remains of Akira under Neo Tokyo's Olympic Stadium, Tetsuo loses control of his power until he transforms into a mutated mass of flesh. It's not the prettiest transformation, I know, but when this transformation nearly destroys the city and helps Tetsuo ascend to the plane of gods, you still have to call this epic. Next up, we have Akira's transformation in Devilman Crybaby. Okay, now don't confuse the two Akiras. One was an Esper and the other here is a devil. No, not the average demon lord you see in most power fantasy shows these days, but a half-human, half-devil, with his devil counterpart being the strongest in the world. Netflix seemed to have learnt its lesson from adapting live-action adaptations, so to make sure the anime fans wouldn't murder them alive, they gave it their best to Devilman Crybaby. And the most integral part of the first episode came as a transformation. Armon devouring Akira in a blood-bathed nightclub wasn't the most epic scene anyone could think of, but the devil that came afterwards sent chills down our spine. Combine that rotoscope animation with the Crybaby soundtrack and oh boy, that's when we knew what sort of a wild ride Netflix had planned for us. Coming up next is Luffy's Gear 4th transformation in One Piece. One thing I love about One Piece is that Ichigo Oda knows how to use a unique power in an interesting way. This transformation relies on the power of elasticity and compression of the Devil Fruit, and by creating more pressure within his muscles. Luffy is able to compress the power using armament haki. To the outside, he might look like a jumping rubber ball, but you have to wait till he starts the punching. Similar to Gear 3 before the time skip, the Gear 4 transformation takes a lot of energy from Luffy, so he'll have to do maximum damage to his opponents within a few seconds. But, needless to say, when you've got high pressure rubber arms, that's enough to snap an average man's body after just one punch. Next up is the transformation of Naruto during his fight with Pain. During the Pain arc, Pain was all that Naruto got. His sensei was killed, his village was destroyed, and Hinata was brought down to her knees right in front of his eyes, just after she made her confession. So it's no wonder that this boy literally called his inner demon to do the rest of the job for him. Naruto had gotten various power-ups every now and then, but the Pain fight was what showcased what the nine-tailed fox was capable of, even while keeping 7 of its 9 tails. Love or hate the animation, all that we should know is Pain learned his lesson by fleeing, getting hammered to the ground, and even being thrown into a mountain horizontally until his legs stuck out. Thankfully, 4th Hokage stepped into the game and calmed down his angry son, or Naruto Shippuden's episode count would have been way lower. Coming up next is our Shinigami taking things to the next level when Ichigo transforms into a Vasto Lord in Bleach. Okay, let's admit it, Ichigo took his fair share of beatings in the first few arcs of the anime, thus the writing had to survive through a pretty basic formula. The bad guy kicks Ichigo's ass, and he pulls up a power-up and uses the Uno reverse card. In this case, it was his second round against Ulquiorra, and he desperately needed a power-up to take down this Espada. Turns out Orihime's words may be the trigger in this case. They say screams of love can bring you back from the dead, but Ichigo literally proves this by awakening in his new form with the resolve to protect Orihime. The next stuff that happened? Well, no surprise there. Our white-faced Espada learned the lesson of underestimating random people who tried to attack the Arrancar. In terms of character design, I like to say this is Ichigo's coolest transformation to date. Coming in at number 3 is Goku's Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball. At times, even I was surprised how this show went from simple martial arts to fights between gods. But hey, with each transition we got a new transformation. Goku's Ultra Instinct separates his conscience from his body, giving him more flexibility and agility while using skills of martial art combat. Needless to say, this isn't what you would achieve in your yoga meditation session. Since it's difficult to master, the one who masters it would get the power to swat down even the most powerful gods in the universe. And this time, the guy to earn that swat was a member of the Pride Troopers. Jiren was considered as one of the strongest mortals in the multiverse, but needless to say, he wasn't the main character of the show, so it was time to take a back seat. It was sad to see Goku lose his power due to the form's imperfect state, but let's give the guy a position on our list, because this is about epic transformations and not about victories. Naruto isn't the only one who was awarded with a transformation because of pain, the literal pain I mean, because you've got that one level higher with the transformation of Gon. Kite's death triggered all the guilt and sorrow Gon's been hiding inside him, and these personified by transforming Gon into a more adult self. In truth, this was because of the massive amounts of Nen stored in Gon's body, and when all the stored energy was released, it wasn't something pretty. Gon's unstable mind made a contract as his conscience had completely broken down, and the ultimate price was paid, his life force itself, his future, and all his potential. Pito learned what every anime villain learned over time: never to underestimate main characters who can pull a power-up. And he learned this the hard way. And by hard way, I mean getting kicked up to the sky and then being punched with an immensely powerful punch. The downside of this transformation is that it could have resulted in Gon's near death. Hunter x Hunter is known for its unique power system with the give-and-take philosophy, so it's not a surprise that Gon had to survive a long time in a hospital bed as a repercussion. on Titan's known for its twist, and I made a whole video to prove that point. But who thought that the annoying main hero of the first season would turn out to be the villain? Eren pulls up a transformation one notch lower from Tetsuo, as he doesn't destroy the world, but massacres an entire city. We all knew it was Eren when the anime started giving more screen time to the hobo in the mental hospital, but let's admit that Rhino was the most surprised when his good old friend came to say hello. But this handshake wasn't a friendly greeting, because as one Eldian declared war on Paradise, another Eldian brought that war right into the main city as he brutally went on a killing spree in search of the Warhammer Titan. With the anime taking a drastic turn, you can surely expect a wild ride from this season, and since this transformation resulted in turning a man versus monster show into one of the best anime storylines ever told, this definitely deserves the #1 spot on our list. So there goes my favorite 10 epic MC transformations. Do you agree with this list, or is there something that I missed? Don't be afraid to raise your voice in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you aren't a regular watcher of our channel, then make sure to subscribe for more anime content like this. With that said, we're done with today's content, anime fans, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.